Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. How's everybody doing today? Hey, today I want to talk about something. I had some guys in the last couple of weeks ask me about this, so I thought I'd do a video about this. Can expats work in the Philippines? So, say for instance, you're someone that wants to work. You want to come here and work. Expats who want to work in the Philippines need to obtain what they call a valid work visa, which they should secure before arrival. If you're working for a company, you really don't have to worry about it because they're going to do that. And say, for instance, they're putting you here because you're working for Carnation or Del Monte or one of the big companies, and they're going to make sure that you have that work visa. I forget what it's called. I think it's H9 or 9. So you have to have that visa available. You have to have that before you can have it's a work permit to work, and it goes up to 2 years, 3 years, and it can change. Giving, what it's a permit for you to work in the Philippines, and do you have to pay taxes on that? You do. If you work for a company, they'll take care of that. So if you work for a foreign company or foreign national, you don't need a work permit because they're going to make sure they have that. So another question that I got is how much is income tax for expats in the Philippines? So instead of everyone, say you're working, you have a job, how much you're gonna? I wouldn't worry about it till you get up to 400,000, which is 8,000 to 800,000. So anywhere from $4,000, $8,000 all the way up, and you'll have to pay taxes on that. The amount of tax is 20%. You have to pay 20%. Yeah, it's called A9. The A9 is a valid initial period of time, 2 or 3 years, and can be extended up to 3 years at a time, depending on duration. From what my understanding is, the contract, if you can get it issued longer, but it has to be renewed multiple times. So there are a lot of times when you don't really realize, like, say for instance, I want to come here, I found a job, or I can do this online, and you're not really sure. Just look on the Department of Labor, and it'll give you the forms that they call it dole. So they'll give you the forms that you need to fill out. But if you're setting, say you're in another country and you decide to want to work, you can work here, but you have to pay tax on that money. A lot of times people will ask, I'm working international, I'm working for a company, I want to have some time to myself, I want to get away from my company, and the company said I can do this anywhere in the world, and I want to do it in the Philippines. But yeah, you can easily do that. We sometimes don't realize how important that time is, that the job. But here's something you got to realize too: internet's going to be poor unless you get in an area that the internet's good. Now, finally, in my area, I fought this for almost 3 years, 4 years. Me being here, you guys know that is my internet. My internet was up and down. It was erratic. It didn't work. I'd be doing a live stream or something. It would just fail on me all the time. Since that time, well, it's gotten a lot better. Do I lose internet now? I do. It's not as regular as it was at one time, but if you would count on fingers and toes, say this last year I lost internet, it would probably be only 4 times, maybe 5 times, and it was a short period of time because the guy does a good job. It's a local guy. He subcontracts between. He is a sub. In other words, he buys a block from PLT and he buys a block from Globe and buys a block from these other companies. So if one is down, he just switches to another, to another, to another, to another. So you're never down. So he does this for businesses because a lot of businesses, if Globe is down, they're out of business. Like you go to a bank and you want to get money out of the bank, you can't get the money out of the bank because it's Globe and it's down. So companies like his came up and says, "Hey, we're going to solve that. We're just going to buy blocks of internet," and that's what he does. So if you're down and say you're a bank and say it's a BPI, he can say, "Okay, I'll switch to the company, be on in 2 minutes. Hold on a minute," and he switches it and it's ready to go. A lot of times he can do it by computer and he knows it already. A lot of times, if there's a power outage in town and he can't really get to it, he will have solar on it. So all his systems now have solar on it. So if it's out, and so if power is out, he's still running. And he has towers all over the place. They're scattered all over. And his service area is large service area. And so he's just picked up a lot of business. When we first got him, met him, and he installed this, it was really, he was just starting out, or he'd been out for a while, but he's really exceeded and done a good job with that. So if you're working also here in the Philippines, you're going to have to be aware that we're in different time zones. So for an example, if you have to work nights because you're, say, in the States and you should be working, you're going to have to be ready for the karaoke, the noise, and things like that. So you need to make sure that you get in an area that's not going to have a lot of noise and karaoke and things like that, or parties. Can you get away from it completely? No, because they just do it everywhere. They do it everywhere. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you're in Davao, CDO, Manila, Bohol. I don't care where you're at in the Philippines. Iloilo, it's going to happen. They're just going to have a party, and they're going to be loud. Music's going to be loud, and karaoke. Think about a karaoke machine. If one's on, then others do it. And what they do, they get the boom boxes out. And these boxes are 6 feet tall. And when one does it, there's a house, for example, it's 5-6 blocks from me. On the top stairs is 2 big boxes of speakers. And they stand about 12 feet tall. Each stack, he's got 2 stacks. Can you imagine those blaring? And it's upstairs. And does he blare them? Yes, they blare them. But they use it sometimes for basketball games. They use it for all kinds of stuff. But really, overall, you got to be prepared for that. Also, if you're by a basketball court, which we are not presently, but we were at one time, the basketball court is over that way. But there's also one over here. And so they're going to be playing at different times. So if you have to work at night, you got to be prepared for that. Another thing you got to be prepared for and watch out for is, say, the drinking, and then that is being aware of the times. For an example, here, holidays are always constantly, you don't know there's a holiday, and all of a sudden there's a holiday, and kids are out of school. And sometimes kids will stay up late, and sometimes there'll be a lot of banging and noise and all the other stuff. Because kids here, they'll go to bed at a reasonable time, 3 a.m., 2 a.m., 1 a.m. And sometimes they can get pretty noisy. It's not just the karaoke, it's not just that stuff. And then you got the roosters to deal with, and then you've got just that noise. The dogs barking, the horns honking, the motorcycles revving up, cranking up at all hours of the day and night. So you have to really kind of plan where you live. So if you're planning to work in the Philippines, you can. And is it easier than anywhere else? It's like it is anywhere else. There's no place that's perfect. Even in the States, even when I had a business, I had to sleep during the daytime. I worked nights. And so blacking out a room that's in the middle of Florida and it's always sunny can be complicated. And then as soon as you get to sleep, what are they doing? They're mowing the yard. Or the next door neighbor's honking his horn. He's mowing his yard. There's always something going on to keep you up. So I had to battle that all the time. So yeah, you had earphones or earplugs and or music or white noise, and you had the blackout curtains. You had it all figured out. And then all of a sudden, maybe somebody will be knocking at the door trying to sell you something. So that's something here. Also here, they do have quite a bit of that. You'll have quite a bit of that during the daytime. So if you're sleeping during the daytime, it may have an issue with that. So I want to tell everybody that. So I want to thank everybody always watching our videos. And thank you so much. And I'll see you guys next time on Tom and Ruth.